Well.
Look who it is.
Welcome back to Terror Talk, baby. Yeah, we told you what was going down, right? Maybe it sounded like opinion. Maybe we sounded a little salty.
Shame you. You know who we're talking
you know
about.
Who you're talking about. Our arch nemesis, our enemy, Rotten Tomatoes. Apparently,
dirty tomatoes.
Well, if you rewind this for a second, this is the one instance where I think, and I'm looking at my Rotten Tomatoes right now, I think what happened is that this studio paid for these reviews. I think it's 40 reviews.
Yeah.
I think they paid a bunch of people like us that can be bought. We can be bought, by the way.
We're cheap.
We're cheap.
That's
true. I think it's somebody that had a lot of money, and it goes connection with my theory. I think it's some guy that had a lot of money with a lot of friends in the industry. They wanted to make a horror movie and put all their buddies in it, and they paid for these reviews because I'm calling you guys out. Whoever did it, and there's two directors that did this movie, by the way. Two people made this movie. Like they don't care. They don't care. Like you don't have that much influence.
Seems to be the. I remember back then IMDb used to be good about it with the reviews, but then people who just hate a movie, would just put 0 and then it would just ruin it. And I think for this, I agree with you. I think Rotten Tomatoes, what it is now, it's just being paid out by the big companies, and
because they silence reviews too. They silence reviews. Yeah,
that's just crazy. Though.
That's crazy. Yeah, we called it. We talked about it. So apparently, Rotten Tomatoes has been manipulating their scores because
I bit my lip.
Oh, ouch. They've been being manipulated. Rotten Tomato scores have been manipulated by a third-party firm who has been enacted by movie studios to give favorable or non-favorable reviews based on whatever metrics they're trying to go by. So
no shit.
Yeah.
Because there's things that just didn't make sense.
We knew that.
AKA I think we first called it in Retaliator. If you watched our Retaliators review.
We did. Yeah, we called it
Retaliators.
That's the clip we just showed.
Yeah. So if you check that out, you should check it out because it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
It was like this movie was horrible.
It had a very, very high Rotten Tomato score in the 90s or 80s.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I said in that video, I was like, I think what happened with this video is they paid for those reviews because it doesn't make sense because that movie was terrible in every sense of the word.
It was not good at all. It was just terrible. Not even two people want it.
So then, then we went down the rabbit hole a little bit, and we were like, okay, like let's look at some of these scores. Let's look at these scores that have big discrepancies. That's why a lot of these movies, they use Rotten Tomatoes as marketing. They say, hey, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 90. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 50. Rotten Tomatoes holds quite a bit of power in the marketing
100%.
industry because you'll go by that's the thing we check. Even I'm a victim. Even I know that they're manipulating scores. Even I know that the Rotten Tomatoes sucks. It's terrible. It's shady. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but what was the Rotten Tomatoes score?
Yeah.
I'm like, what was it?
Or when you watch a movie, you're like, oh, this movie sucked, but it's a fresh tomato. What?
You're like fresh. I gotta check it out.
That's crazy.
I gotta check it out.
Exactly.
You know, I the curiosity gets the better of me, and then I'm like, I can't trust the audience score. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's a weird mix. And then Metacritic. It's so easy to go to Rotten Tomatoes. Like Metacritic is a better metrics. It's a better website, but it's like that's not your go-to. That's not your go-to. You go to McDonald's first. You don't go to Burger King.
But that's the thing. Metacritic I like because you know what? I've seen a lot of movies that people trash online, but the Metacritic gives it like a decent review.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair.
Yeah.
Versus Rotten Tomato, if you watch any DC movie, oh, it fucking sucks. You know, Rotten Tomato, fuck this movie, and then people go with it.
Yeah. And also with Rotten Tomato, what they were doing, they suppress reviews. So if you've seen like a movie review like that Dave Chappelle special where he got a lot of heat for it because it was, they said it was transphobic. It was a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, and you're like, well, how's this a 0? Like this doesn't make any sense. So they pick and chose what reviews they were going to display on, and that's super shady. Come on, they didn't put everybody's review. Like Jeremy Johns is a reviewer on YouTube who has a massive following, almost 3 million subscribers. And he went on and gave it a positive review. And in that review, he was saying, listen, if Rotten Tomatoes is listening, which I know you are, I give this movie a positive score. And they still didn't put it on there, even though in the past they've taken his YouTube reviews and transcribed them and put them on the website for other movies that they choose to. So Rotten Tomatoes right there has an agenda, and super shady.
And it's an agenda with agendas.
Agenda with an agenda.
Whoever has an agenda, call Rotten Tomatoes because they'll come right with you, bro.
They have the power. Like they can make or break you. Like any movie that they deem is worthy of it, they'll just make it happen. They'll make it happen with that movie if they're getting paid the right. And then now it's confirmed that this firm was getting paid by third parties to pump up the reviews and make them good or make them bad, depending on what they wanted to do.
Shame on you.
The best one for me is, and I know this is a horror movie centric channel, but I think this is important to talk about because it affects all the movies, especially in Retaliators. But I think, and a lot of you can say, look, if you like this movie or nah, that's beside the point. But you do know, and you have to acknowledge the fact that this movie was very divisive. The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi, if you look on the Rotten Tomatoes score, owned by Disney, right? It's a Disney movie. Disney has a lot of power, a lot of money. They can crush you if they want to.
Hey, I see what you're doing. I'm coming.
You coming?
Oh, yeah. No, not like
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Everybody look away.
But, like, that had an extraordinarily high Rotten Tomatoes score. Extraordinarily high. And then the critic score, the audience score was a little bit low. Not too low, but low enough. And they were like, well, those are just people that hate women. They're just review bombing it. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, for me, that movie was horrible.
I got one for you. Ready?
Yeah, give me one.
Check this out. So we all know, everybody's talked about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
Yeah, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, yeah.
Everyone hated it.
Everyone.
I don't care.
We all hated it.
I'm a DC guy.
Especially the ending.
Yeah, I'm a DC guy. So I'm not just saying that because I'm a DC guy, but I have people that are like, anything Marvel throws out, they just eat it up. And then Rotten Tomatoes has it at 77%. Audience score 32%.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Everyone's been shitting on She-Hulk since it came out. And it's not because it's like, oh, girls this. It's just, the truth is with She-Hulk, it's just very lazy writing. Terrible writing. Waste of money. And you're just ruining character images just because you're just bored.
Right.
And then Rotten Tomatoes is like, yeah, this is a good movie, as they're putting their pocket full of money.
Right.
Shame on you.
What's the through line between both of these movies, right? The through line comes in with the fact that it's both Disney products.
Correct.
Right? And these are movies these are shows like, that one was widely hated. We know that in the community.
I haven't met someone that says they actually enjoyed it.
No, I haven't either.
Except for Daredevil getting it on.
Yeah, that was
because my man needs some. You know what I'm saying?
He did. You know, he didn't know what he was looking at though. But,
That's so true.
Yeah,
we forgot that he's
blind. He's blind.
He's a blind guy banging a She-Hulk.
Yeah. But we know
he banged disabled guy.
He banged a disabled guy.
Yeah.
But he has power. But
really,
and then you look at like the Last Jedi. It's divisive. Some people do like that movie. But not everyone.
No, as a true Star Wars fan, you didn't like it.
It ain't no 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yep. It's something. I don't know the exact score, but it was rated very, very high. Now, what's the through line? It's Disney. Disney has the power to be able to enact a third-party firm. It's pennies to them to create these review bombs. And why? So you're saying, well, Rotten Tomatoes is not at fault because they're not the ones getting paid. Oh, hell yeah, they are. They're the ones because when the critics get that, right? The critics get paid, then they place it on there. They're complicit. You can't see the fact that these are fake reviews, these are paid for reviews, these are sponsored reviews, and you decide to put it on there as your marketing tool.
All right, check this out.
Yeah.
That came out 2017, 91% Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
And 42% audience score.
It doesn't
That's
make
from
sense.
2017.
So
it had enough time.
For a long time.
Exactly.
This has been going on for a long time, and I know for a fact that this movie is divisive. It is not widely loved across the board. I hate it. But I understand if you liked it, cool. That's cool. The problem with that movie is it doesn't go all the way with everything. It stops. It's like, we're gonna break down the idea of the Jedi, but then we're gonna bring it back anyway.
And also, you get cool characters, and you're like, no, this character's a piece of shit because he's a man or something like that.
Terrible movie, awful movie. But it's like, if you liked it, that's fine. I respect your opinion. But it shit ain't no 98% because I know enough people in real life and from the things I've read and from the videos that I've seen that have massive problems with that movie.
And I saw an article recently.
So at best, it's 50%.
I would say easily 44%.
Yeah.
As a true Star Wars fan, I am.
For me, it's a 0%. But I'm saying, like,
but yeah,
I get why some people may have liked it. I get that.
But I saw an article recently, and it was saying how all the new sequels for Star Wars are starting to gain attraction as people are starting to love it. And I'm like, who? Like, how many times have we Star Wars fans said that these movies suck? They're not good anymore compared to what they were before.
Yeah.
It's just lost and everything like that. And, Will kind of ruined Star Wars for me because he had a very great point, but it just means nothing at all.
Yeah. It's no meaning. There's no love anymore. There's just nothing. It's not they're not made with any passion anymore. They're studio products.
Yeah,
and
but they're all agenda filled.
Agenda filled, and there's agenda filled. Like we can't just have a good time at the movies. It has to have a point to it. Like it has to have a specific agenda as to what they're talking about. But either way, other than that, we knew this was coming. We knew Rotten Tomatoes was up to no good. We knew there was discrepancies all over the place. What are some horror movie discrepancies that we have here?
Well, let's see here. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I think one of them is Final Destination 1. Right?
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination, Final Destination 1 is a pretty good movie. It's a decent movie.
I liked it.
I liked it a lot. I think it brings a new concept to horror.
But you know what it is? When it first came out, that's something very new. I think a lot of people need to understand that when these movies came out, because I see a lot of 90s movies or early 2000 movies get shitted on because it doesn't hold this time. I'm like, F you, man. When that movie first came out, that shit was intense. Nobody was taking flights. You know what I mean? And but yeah, so that got 36%.
36%. The audience was 68.
68%.
68%. Yep. So that was another one where, like, you could kind of, I get your point. You can kind of understand, like, maybe people weren't like really like adjusted to it.
Like if you just watch it now, it's probably not as scary because you've seen so much more than when it was back then.
Right. But I think conceptually, as a slasher film where there is no slasher. Yeah. Like, it's just life, like, getting you. It is kind of an interesting concept, which I feel like the audience got right on there. But I don't know if any manipulation was going on in that. You know, they are pretty unfair with horror movies in general. But I'll give you one horror movie they were not unfair with that had a huge discrepancy. And that's the movie Us. Sorry, Jordan Peele, we're coming for you again, baby.
Bro, bring it on. All those fans, let's go. Come on, we're coming back.
Okay, Us. If you look at the Rotten Tomato score on Us, 93% with 554 reviews.
Crazy.
And audience score 60% with what? How many reviews? 10,000 plus reviews?
Yes.
So the audience clearly I liked Us, by the way, but a lot of people didn't like it.
But it wasn't like that.
But let's
like the way that they have it.
93%. Now we all know where this is going. Look, Rotten Tomatoes is a very political company. They're a company with an agenda. They're a company that wants you to feel a certain way. Now, look, I get it. Jordan Peele, one of the more successful African-American directors out here, making new horror movies. They can't give his movie a shitty review. So whoever is making the interpretation of these reviews, whether it's good or bad, it's either 1 or 100. And they just took whatever was mid and they just said, hey, it's good. They can manipulate the score any way they want because unilaterally they're taking these reviews and saying, hey, is this a good review or a bad review? Everything's up to interpretation. I can give a movie a 5 out of 10, and based on your perception of my review, you can think it's either a good review or a bad review. Only if I give it a 1 or a 2 or a 3, now that's negative. Now, if I give it a 7 out of 10, you also could perceive that as negative, even though it's a higher score than the 5. It's somebody making those decisions for you. It is a completely centralized website where they make their choices based on how they feel about each subject matter. So you look at Us, African-American director, Jordan Peele, rising star. They don't want to piss anybody off. I don't care. I'll piss you off. They don't, though. So they skew it to make it look like it's this masterpiece of a film when the audience said, no, it's not. It's okay. And I like that movie. I don't want to shit on that movie, but we just want to show some of the discrepancies and some of the corruption that goes on with this that has just been revealed today. And that's like a little scratch of the rabbit hole. We can go even deeper.
Let's go. And back to where you were saying that they're really unfair with horror movies.
Very unfair.
Look at Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
Yeah.
5%.
5%.
5%.
5%.
Audience score 44%.
Come on, 5%. It's not that bad.
5%? That's crazy.
Bad. Now, if the Rotten Tomatoes meter had a sense where, like, okay, if it's 2 stars or below, we give it whatever. It's bad. If it's 3 stars and above, it's good, right? Then there's nobody interpreting it. We know the scale. Like if it's rated under 5, it's bad, right? But I get it. Whereas the fact that you have to read the review to see exactly what the person was saying, and then make a decision. But it can't just be rotten or fresh. You have to have something in the middle. And it's like they've been manipulating us, and they've been manipulating audiences and marketing and companies and movies for years. And I'm glad that somebody's finally calling them out, besides us. Somebody is calling them out where people are actually aware of their corruption.
Because you at home, go ahead, pick a movie that you really like.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised to see what it is on Rotten Tomato. Or there's movies that right now that they're terrible, but people are just, oh, they're good because it's this and that. Mm-hmm. And there's just agendas, man. And it's sad to say that it's hard to say going forward, are people still gonna go by what Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
I think so, because Rotten Tomatoes is so big.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's gonna be like, hey, what's the Metacritic on this movie? I'd be like, all right, I know what it is.
Exorcist. But and then The Exorcist is like in the 80s also.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, what are we going? What does this mean now? Like this is like Us is a 93 and Exorcist is 80. That shit don't add up. That don't add up at all.
That doesn't make sense at all.
Interesting. A movie where the devil or a demon is the villain and gets defeated by the power of God, and it's rated lower than usual. I wonder. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the suppression of reviews, all this to say is that don't believe everything you read. Don't believe everything that people say. Make sure you double check, triple check. And if there's a movie that you like, that somebody's shitting on like myself or Rotten Tomatoes, who gives a shit? You like the movie, you like the movie. Don't go by what other people say. Make your own opinions. Think for your goddamn self. That's it.
Yeah. Right? Because people would sway you a different way for their own reason.
Every single person has an agenda.
And see, our thing is, we're just going to be honest with you.
Yeah,
That's
we're just going to be honest. We have an agenda. We want you to watch our views. But in that agenda, we're going to give you our honest thoughts. We're not trying to sway you in one way or the other. In fact,
no bullshit unless we get paid.
We can be bought, baby. But we like dissonance because that gives us discussions. We can have discussions and stuff. Not everybody's going to agree with us, right? And we're not going to agree with everyone else, but we can have discussions about it. Interesting conversations. Why did you like it? Why did we hate it? Why did you hate it? Why did we like it? It's great. But, you know,
and it's also enlightening as well, because you know what opinion you have might be like, okay, I see what you're coming from.
Yeah, where you're coming from.
Kind of like The Witch.
Perspectives, yeah.
You remember that guy? He made a comment, one of our commenters. I was like, you know what? I see where he's coming from.
I
don't believe that this movie's this.
Yeah, I don't agree, but I get where you're coming from.
But I get where you're coming from, and I see what you see.
If you want to watch the movie and it looks good to you, watch the movie and stop reading Rotten Tomato scores to help you guide you to watching what movie you're going to watch, because they're not going to tell you. And in fact, they're telling you what they want to tell you to manipulate you. That's it. Right?
Shame on you, Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, shame on you. But if you like this video, click that like button. Right? Maybe agenda. Click the like button. We're trying to manipulate you to click the like button.
We're trying to monetize, baby.
Click that like button. Click that bell notification. Subscribe to us. If you like rants like this and talks about horror movie reviews, news, and anything like that, please consider subscribing to us. Join us. We put videos out every Wednesday, every Sunday. We have shorts. We have a TikTok. We do all kinds of stuff. Memes.
We've got threads.
We do.
We do.
And follow me on social media. Follow me on Twitter. I'm the Horror Movie Snob. Follow me on Twitter. I do my takes on there as well.
He gets banned too.
I got banned. Yeah. I got banned from a couple.
If you're trying to look for it, because he's banned, because he said something naughty.
I got banned on one of my accounts. I have several burners. But anyway, click that like button and join us. This is Terror Talk with a 3 instead of E. We give it to you raw, hard, and direct. Terror Talk out, baby.